Are you gonna make the late?
He's bringing in 2 hours.
Summer ale.
Girls, I had to add some Mars. He wants a light email. Okay, change it. Initial Oh, you got spooked? Somebody sending me some weird stuff. Even at home, I had phone calls to myself.
What year did you move?
Wow. That's a call. Stay away from. Or whatever.
Just,
Here, I'm getting 30. Whatever.
it's shorter.
Sorry to keep you all waiting.
30 seconds.
I'll tell you a story later, though.
He got locked up again.
He went to get his golf ball again, Thomas.
No,
He had his golf ball again.
I'm here.
Welcome to the March 9th meeting of the Elizabethtown City Council. This is a work session tonight. Our invocation will be from Mr. Bishop.
And we pray. Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for watching over us and being with us. We ask that you continue to watch over us and lead us and guide us as we discuss things today. Be with our employees as they go about their daily duties, and we ask that you be with all our sick and shut in of our community and those families who are going through bereavement. Just ask that you continue to be with them. In your son's name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. We have any scouts? Okay. Join us in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Tonight, we have a proclamation for Larry and Martha Mingle. I suppose they weren't able to join us this evening, but we're going to go ahead and we're proclaiming this Larry and Martha Mingle Day because they've been such awesome citizens. They're like so many of the retired military families who decide to settle here. I think after all those years in the armed forces, you serve for so many years, and then even after you retire, you continue to serve, and that's what both of them have done. And I'd like to, I'm really sorry that they're not here, but I'd like to read this proclamation to you all. Martha Mingle has served as president of the Potterview Garden Club, the Garden Club of Kentucky, and the Women's Club of Elizabethtown, and has been active with the Foreign Officers Group at Fort Knox and her church. Larry Mingle is a retired colonel of the U.S. Army, Director of Hardin County Habitat for Humanity, Secretary of the Kentucky Habitat for Humanity Board, past president of the Elizabethtown Lions Club and the Lions Tent Project Coordinator, chairman of the board for Feeding America, Kentucky's Heartland, and very active in his church. Larry also received the Boy Scout of America Distinguished Citizens Award. Larry and Martha have been outstanding citizens of Elizabethtown and will be greatly missed upon their move to North Carolina. Now be it proclaimed that March the 9th, 2015 be declared as Larry and Martha Mingle Day in Elizabethtown, and they're recognized for their many contributions and accomplishments that has made Elizabethtown the wonderful place it is today. And they surely will be missed. Okay, first order of business is alcohol and Mr. Reynolds.
Mayor and Council, in front of you, I placed a little pamphlet that we put together. Starting with, on the first sheet there, I updated our wet and dry voting history to reflect January 1 of the new type license, quota drink license 11. The only thing that really discussed with council last year of any importance was the reduction of the regulatory fee from 5 to 4%. Next page, also in the Kentucky ABC laws changed, cities could sell on election day if they had an ordinance to do so. Elizabethtown opted to do that. We have an ordinance to sell. I put in the sheet, it was kind of interesting.
Election day says.
Oh,
That one.
We're just having a little trouble hearing you, Doc. Sorry.
How's that? Is that better? Or I can holler.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah.
Lower. Next is a sheet from the state ABC that shows the cities and counties that opted not to sell, which was interesting to me. Very few. Next sheet from that, it's gross sales from ABC licensed restaurants only. I started this back in 2002 to run a comparison of alcohol being drank or served in restaurants compared to overall sales, with the package stores coming in and all that. If you'll notice, down at the bottom of the little red line, it's still pretty straight and even. So those that are eating and drinking at the restaurants are still doing so. Next is a bar graph showing breakdown of the fees collected during 2014. Total of $888,314.29. That's down from last year, which was the year before last, $955,147.80.
And that's
That's
because we
due.
reduced the,
Reduced the regulatory fee from 5 to 4 as of July the 1st. And next is the figures broken down as to quarterly by restaurant and by malt beverage sales.
And then in the coming years,
Now,
will you add any kind of places that just sell distilled spirits? Will you add another category? to
yes,
that? Just for, what would you just call that, bars, I guess?
well, it's got a name.
Okay.
Quota drink license, QDL.
And then you'll start tracking that as well.
That's correct. On the breakdown, it's interesting. The restaurants we collected fees of $181,007. Those restaurants reported sales of alcohol, 3.9 million. On the package stores, of the 362,000 we collected, we reported alcohol sales of 8.1 million.
What was it, 8.1 million?
And on the beer sales, of the 344,488, reported 7.4 million. That's a lot of
That's
alcohol,
total.
of the alcohol only. Next items are the log sheets of license issued during the year. license issued during the year were 27 restaurants, 48 beer license, 13 package store, 1 golf, 1 private club, and 20 temporary event license. You might wonder how come we had 13 packaged liquor stores and only got 12 licenses. 1 was sold to another entity. Next is items are, excuse me, next item is the calls for service to the Elizabethtown Police Department. That is either by the business or by the officer stopping someone anticipated possibly being DUI. During the year, for a total of 75 calls. What is pleasing, of those 75, 45 were from the businesses themselves reporting that someone either came in intoxicated or they believed to be intoxicated.
That's 75, Tom, up, down compared to 2013.
2013, that's on the next sheet after that. There was 26. 75, that includes all the new license, all the retail beer and all that. In proportion, you'll notice most of them are from 1, 2, and 3 calls. The largest was 8. That was at the service station, and I must there again emphasize most of those were from the business.
And that goes back to the STAR training and the training that
Yes.
the clerks
Where
are
we talked
receiving.
about that we want them to call us. They were leery at first. He said, well, give me a black mark. No, it really gives you a white one.
And you just as a comment too, when you go over to 2010, I mean, you know, we had one place that had 49 calls. That's just one place,
Yeah,
right?
that's
Okay.
correct.
Okay.
It's no longer in business. The
Still
place
think
is
they're
still
hearing
there.
That's what you call growing pains that first year.
They're behaving better.
Scrambled.
Makes a big
Next item I have is alcohol-related collisions. In City of Elizabethtown, total collisions that involved alcohol for 2014 were 27. With injury, 7. No fatalities, thank goodness. 20 property damage. 1 involved commercial vehicle. Total injuries involved in those accidents were 9. Like I say, no fatalities. I finished it up with the listings from the state of Kentucky for all the counties and cities and classification of whether they're wet, moist, dry, or et cetera.
Tom, I think it's interesting on that graph that shows the alcohol fee receipts and you gave the total alcohol sales. I don't think years ago, citizens of Elizabethtown would have realized the economic impact that the sale of alcohol would have. Somebody was talking to me the other day and we were talking about that and they said, Ron, it's not the economic impact that it had on Elizabethtown, but it's the reverse is the economic depact that it had on Nelson and Bullitt counties as to
Right.
what's
Yeah,
happened.
the first
there.
time I
And
think
I think that's very, very, very true.
we got the figures, I think I showed a little bit over 3 million
Yes.
and couldn't believe it. Well, as you can see, a little bit more than that.
They stayed real quiet about it too, didn't they?
Yes, yes.
So it looks like alcohol, so about 19.4 million.
Yes, sir.
The only question or the comment that I would have is back on the very first page. And that's the most recent thing that the city has done, which we have approved the new ordinance regarding the 11 licenses. But if we had not approved that last week, we would still have 11 licenses in Elizabethtown.
There will be 11 licenses
Okay.
to be
They
issued.
would
in
simply
Elizabeth
file
Town.
their license application with Frankfurt instead of Elizabethtown.
That's correct. They
And
would-
then we would have lost
bypass.
out on the regulatory fee of 4%.
That's correct.
on those licenses.
That's correct.
I mention that because I've had several people, if you look at the previous event which was in the general election,
No,
where it was voted no,
that's correct.
it makes it seem that the council went against the will of the voting public, and we did not do that.
No, that was due to the reclassification bill.
Tom, I think we've been very fortunate in Elizabethtown, at least based on the reports and things and incidents related to the sale of alcohols, which many, many people fear. The question that I'm asked frequently, and I think I know the answer to that, I know that you visit all of the concerns unannounced, probably on a regular basis. I mean, without saying that, but the question has been asked, do people from Frankfurt, from the ABC office in Frankfurt also make unannounced visits?
Yes, they do.
Okay. I assume that they did.
Yeah, I slowed down a little bit due to the weather and old age. I don't hop as much as I used to. As a fellow said, I don't like to get in bar fights. Chief Tracy Schiller does. And his staff they're doing a wonderful job on enforcing our ordinance.
Tom, do you know whether or not they regularly find illegal sales? I mean, I'm talking about Frankfurt, not you, but,
They are to notify me, and I have not had any notification lately.
okay.
Reason being, Ronnie Crane, who was a big help to me for 12 years, state ABC, retired. So right now, Hardin County is in the process of getting a replacement. There's a temporary one that's down in Warren County that comes up here, and I've met him. I've gone out with him on a couple occasions. But he wants to stay at home, and I don't blame him there.
Someone said some FBI agents came in.
He and I visited a place that was serving alcohol without a license, and it was against the law for them to be doing that. We identified ourselves, talked to him. He said to take care of matters that afternoon if possible. He did. He came down City Hall and took care of some business. But while he was here, he mentioned to the one lady that he had 2 FBI agents that came to see him. Not FBI, ABC.
Hey, letters, what? Come on, ABC, FBI.
ABC went to-
Yeah.
It's been interesting so far.
Anything else? Thanks very much.
Oh, might add, we have had one application for our new license that was brought to me and has been faxed to Frankfurt. Miss Emily West, is the Historical State Theater. So be the #1 person to apply.
For one of the 11,
Sir,
for one of the 11.
yes,
When's the deadline?
March 26th. We've had about 8 or 9 inquiries. It's hard to keep up with them because they can download the application off website.
But then they send it to you, don't they?
Yes, now they have to go to
And
us
after
first.
this window, when would they be able to apply again?
It depends on whether all 11 licenses are taken.
And if they're not taken,
The state will let us know that we can still accept license.
okay.
Now, I'll bring this to your attention. Radcliffe back in 2002, I believe, had 8 of this type license due to their city classification.
Right.
This year so far, they've had 2 to renew. They had issued 5, but the year before, of those 5, only 2 have renewed.
Okay, thank you, Tom.
Thank you.
Sarah?
It is.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Alcohol consumption zone.
Mm.
No.
Okay, thank you all for your time this afternoon. I strategically wanted Tom to go first so you can see the fresh numbers of the benefits, but today I wanted to bring to you all a proposal to edit one of the current policies that we have, which is the first handout I gave you. What's highlighted are my suggestions. And my suggestion, we currently have a policy that was decided upon and approved in February of 2012 that no alcohol is allowed to be served or sold at the Legion Park, Nature Park, tennis courts, softball fields, Gates Field, soccer field, or Freeman Lake. And my proposal today is to ask to change policy that we are allowed to sell it and serve it at Freeman only during city sanctioned events. This is definitely not a suggestion that when you rent a facility or a pavilion at the lake that you should then be able to bring alcohol in. That is not at all what I'm suggesting by any means. So this is currently the city sanctioned events that we are going to hold at the lake for this year is Founders Day, July the 4th, and then of course the August 29th Chris Young concert. I do not propose that we sell it during the Founders Day, July 4th by any means. That would be a nightmare, most definitely. My proposal today is to ask that I'm able to sell it during the concert, which will be on August the 29th. I provided with you the edits in front of you. I left the verbiage in there, to allow it. And the only reason I changed the verbiage of that, or I'm suggesting the verbiage, is that if you all are more comfortable as a council, if you do vote for this, that we go ahead and change the policy to allow it during city sanctioned events. And then if at that point you require that we go in front of you, I go in front of you per event that I'm asking for, whatever your all's decision may be, I'm not sure how you want to handle it from there. Or if we want to specifically state exactly what it's for in the policy, that would be completely up to you. My main goal, of course, is the concert. Okay, so take a look at the map that I have on there as well. And a couple of things, bear with me as I have a lot of information to go with this, but what you're looking at, we historically have held the concerts at the bandstand. And my proposal, now today I want you to focus on the proposal of allowing the alcohol for the concert, not necessarily to vote or not vote on the location of the concert, because all those details and logistics are really up in the air. But I do want to explain it, because if you've been to a concert out there, this is very different. So the main reason that I would like to move the concert to the top of the hill, number one, there are a few of us that cannot get visions out of our head of Joe Diffie's band and crew fishing their equipment out of the lake after the Heartland fiasco last year. So I would like to get it away from water. They also would like to, we have to put a roof structure on top of the bandstand, and that's a very heavy load. Since the Indianapolis situation and concert that happened several years ago, the state and everyone is getting very strict on roof structures and what they can and cannot be. They're getting very heavy, and it's very difficult. And the production company, and costly along with that, the production company actually come out that we've hired for this. They come out and they said, we'll do it, but we really don't encourage to do that just because the load is so big. We all know that we've put Band-Aids on the bandstand for quite some time, and I would really like to get away from that completely. Also, from a logistics standpoint, at the bandstand, it's a lot less room for people, and I would like to add a VIP tent and really beef up the VIP section. We sell those tickets at a higher cost. However, the only offer that we can give them with that cost is preferred seating and porta-johns and parking. And although those things are nice, we really would like to offer a little bit more, possibly an actual appetizers or seating area, or whatever you may, whatever we can provide, but I can't do that at the bandstand. So those are the reasons I'm proposing that we do put it on top of the hill. I've met with our electricians. I've met with the production company, and what it is, they have a mobile stage. It's a tractor trailer. It's kind of like Transformers. They pull it up and they unfold it. The lighting, all the truss, the roof, everything is there ready to go. We would not have to use the 12 to 14 labor stagehands to set the stage up. It would already be done. We would only have to do load in, load out of equipment, which is significantly less time and less opportunity for injury. Plus, if weather does become of question, it's a lot easier and secure, unlike the situation we had in 2014. So, okay, so going back to the map, does anybody have any questions on that piece of it?
The trailer that they're bringing in, that meets the specifications
Yes,
that
ma'am.
the artist requested.
Yes, it does. Okay, so the boundary line that you'll see here. Now, we know that the park is big, and I know that your first thought is probably, you can just come in and walk anywhere. Absolutely not. We want to be able to control this to the best of our ability. So the suggestion in the alcohol consumption zone, that where you see yellow is where we would have orange fencing put up. And on the orange fencing, very clear signage that would say no alcohol beyond this point, and a trash can near any exits. Now, we would have only certain areas, which are not marked on here because they're still up in the air, but we would only have certain areas of being able to enter into this is the concert area, which is also seen as the alcohol consumption zone. But certain entrances that folks can get in. At those entrances, we will not be allowing coolers, so they cannot just bring in like they have been in the past allowed to do. They can't just bring in anything and everything that they want, so no coolers will be allowed in. We'll also be taking tickets there. It would be a lot easier to control. Whereas now it's you park and kind of free for all open in.
Your VIP tent, will it be inside the alcohol area?
Yes, definitely.
So everything that's going on is going to be inside the,
Exactly. Everything will be in there. That's why we've marked where the stage is.
okay.
So all of the folks will actually be facing, the stage will be facing the opposite direction, if that makes any sense. Should have had an arrow on there. Okay. We'll also have obviously police staged at several points, definitely near the areas of where you cannot. We'll have volunteers, we'll have staff, we'll have police, monitoring those areas. We know the fencing can be taken down very easily. We will have volunteers and folks that will be monitoring that, making sure that the fencing stays intact, especially in the high traffic, quote unquote, areas. But all of the parking will be where you see it there, and then also on Knolls, which is not shown on this map, which is actually a lot closer parking than where it usually is. So that is definitely less walking. Our handicap parking is a lot more accessible here as well, where in the past handicap parking is at the Ernie Williams Pavilion lot, and then also across the road from that, or down in a field. And for folks that have wheelchairs and things like that, it's very difficult. So this actually makes it a lot easier. That land is a lot more flat. Okay.
So you won't be paying as you enter in your automobile.
Yes, we will have
Yeah.
folks at the front, and we're still working out the logistics on that. Basically, the folks that will be at the entrances on this map will just be taking and checking tickets to allow them into this area. So we'll do that by stamping or whatever it is to signify you have that ticket. Yes, we will have people at the gates with the money and selling tickets if we have any left, things like that. Yes, ma'am. Okay, the beer sales will be taking place towards the back of this, obviously behind where the crowd will be, primarily because we don't want it in front of the crowd or near the stage, but also because that's where the electric is, and these trailers take 30 amp circuits. What we'll be doing is modeling after what Emily has done at the State Theater during Cruising Event and Blues and Barbecue, is that we will first have, the first stop will be that you get carded and you are then given a bracelet. So if you have a cup in your hand, you better have a bracelet. That way police can quickly identify who should or should not be drinking. And then you'll also purchase a ticket.
A drink ticket.
Correct. Yes, a drink ticket. Also want to note that the rest of the park will be closed. It will not be open for all the other things like it always has been in the past. We always close the park down for large events like this. Okay, so you'll be carded, you'll be given a bracelet that's brightly colored. And then each ticket equals 1 beer. Second location, you'll then turn in your ticket. All of these will be volunteers who are STAR trained and or managed under STAR trained volunteers. Emily has been gracious enough to say that she will work with me on helping recruit those volunteers. And also I know the Heritage Council and several other organizations that we partner with that have folks that love to help with those things. We'll do inventory based upon tickets sold and cash in hand. We will have a staff person there to oversee any money and all of those things. So we're also going to have food vendors available, festival style food, hamburgers, soda, water, etc. It's not all about the beer. Upon the
They're gonna be inside. This-
all of that inside there.
everything's inside there.
Everything's inside there. Yes, ma'am. Upon the exit, Chief Schiller and I talked that depending upon logistically how we can work this out and how we can stage volunteers, we probably will be taking down small portions of the fencing so that exiting is much easier and you don't have to, there won't be any bottlenecking. But we'll of course have to stage that with volunteers and trash cans and signage to make sure that they are getting rid of those cups. I plan to have, cabs available on site, and also a local company is looking into maybe offering a DD service. You pay us $10, $20, whatever the fee is. As long as you're within city limits, we will pick you up and we will take you home. So definitely promotion of safe driving. I've already met with Anheuser-Busch, and obviously they're really excited about the potential for this opportunity, and they're willing to partner with us as a sponsor. Of course, it depends on the decision here, but all of the other sponsors that I've talked to as well are really excited about the opportunity, and have all agreed that this is going to help promote ticket sales for this. So we have gross potential. I'm looking conservatively of 20 to 25,000. That's very conservative.
In that area, handle it easy enough. 20,
That's dollars. I'm sorry.
Oh,
We have 5,000 tickets.
5,000. So that area,
Yes.
about 5,000 people.
Yes, sir. Mhm.
I was gonna say 20,000.
No, that won't hold 20,000. I wish it would, but maybe in the future. But with all the other events that we've had the alcohol sales at, we haven't had any major issues. And really the only one that I can even think of, and Chief Schiller can speak to this better than me, is the issues that we had at the Tracy Lawrence concert in 2013, where alcohol wasn't even sold, but people are bringing it in and putting the police in a very awkward position. And this way we can control it. We can stop selling at a certain time. We have STAR trained people and police officers on staff to cut you off and all of those things. So
Sarah, when we had the Blue Spots and Barbecue last week, right down here by the State Theater, we had one of the bandstands.
Uh-huh.
Had a trailer there where you showed your ID, got your bracelet, got your ticket, went over to the other trailer, got your drink. Everybody went back to their seats. Basically, if you took that setup
yes,
in that parking lot, took it out there and set it down on this piece of property, that's what you're asking.
yes.
You're asking for the same policy that we have downtown at city sanctioned events to be out there on that property at the lake.
Exactly. The biggest difference is that right now we have a policy in place where alcohol cannot be sold at the lake. So that's the biggest
Sarah,
difference. Yes, sir.
considering that we have had successful concerts at Freeman Lake in the past, I mean, I think we would all agree we've had successful concerts. What's the purpose of selling alcohol during this or requesting that we change our policy?
I would like to actually make money on the concert.
Okay.
We haven't
Um,
made money, Ron.
I know.
I do.
I
That would be the difference.
I thought we made money on Tracy Lawrence. It showed it on your annual report that we,
Not on the concert piece of it. It was more of the gate monies that were taken in.
Outside the concert.
Yeah, and it was probably, I think it was $11,000. I mean, it wasn't
so it's
significant.
not actually the concert that makes money, it's the booze.
It definitely helps. It's not only the booze, but it's the opportunity that they're there and that you can buy it there that helps promote ticket sales. I
But
mean,
you sell more tickets.
you sell more tickets. Yeah, I mean, It's part of the event.
In somewhat what
I-
you're doing, in all honesty, is the same as we discussed when you used to have the Pops in the Park, is, to keep alcohol out is a monumental task. When you've got an outdoor event like this, and so instead of them sneaking it in, you're going to sell them beer.
Well,
And-
that's the same reason you said, well, we're gonna legalize marijuana.
That's,
I mean, they're
Exactly.
already doing it, so let's just legalize
leave
it.
it. And I
That's
see
not-
exactly,
I mean, what kind of point is that?
Well, then why does the city continue to turn their head? That's been my point all along on this issue out there, is that we have a, you can't have it both ways. You either enforce it and take everybody out of there, or you don't. I mean, that's what's been going on here for years. At all the events out there at Freeman Lake.
yeah.
And I haven't,
I'm
I
telling
mean,
you.
I was at the Tracy Lawrence concert and I didn't see anybody drinking. But did
And I would
do
say-
you turn your head? Does the police department
Yeah,
turn their
I was
head?
gonna answer the question.
No, we won't. We didn't, quite honestly, we didn't have staff to go down and search for to keep up with what we had found. We were called to a number of locations within there where people had seen it, or they were being disturbed by people that were having their own little party, and there was significant.
Well, and Councilman Fulkerson, and I know we've talked about that before, whenever we've talked about the policy, particularly at Freeman Lake. I think that's a poor excuse to change the policy at Freeman Lake. Again, I'm probably going to be in the minority, and if it comes for a vote, I'm not going to vote to approve that at Freeman Lake. I still think my opinion represents, even though I'm going to be in the minority probably, I think that my opinion as to what we should allow at Freeman Lake has not changed from what I have felt in the past. And I think that I still represent the opinion of a significant portion of our population. As far as I'm concerned, this is a family park. And if we have to change the policy at Freeman Lake to allow the sale of alcohol so that we can make money, that's to me a very weak excuse to change the policy. First of all, if we have allowed it in the past, as has been indicated, that's our fault then. That's our fault. If it's a policy that you can't bring a cooler in and we've let that happen, then we need to step up our enforcement.
It hasn't been. No, I'm sorry. We've allowed coolers to be brought in and
I'm
we've
saying
never,
with alcohol.
right, we've never
Right.
checked them.
This,
Secondly, again, we've had success. We've had successful concerts. I know that without the sale of alcohol. I feel very strongly about what we have said in the past, that Freeman Lake is a family-oriented park. And if we're doing it because other cities are doing it, or if we're doing it to make money, then I think that the city could well afford to absorb the difference in cost, if that's exactly why we're doing it. I just think that it's going to be much more difficult to contain out there. And I know that we've talked about how you would go purchase it and you would have your wristband and things like that. I think it's going to be much more difficult to contain out there than it would be in the downtown area there. Again, I guess my real objection though just goes back to my basic philosophy. This is the only sacred cow that we've got left in the city. I have nothing against the sale of alcohol. I mean, I knew it was coming. We don't have any, and everybody said, well, we'll never have bars. We're going to have bars. Everybody said, we'll never have package stores. We've got package stores. I, for one, would like to keep Freeman Lake a family-oriented park. But if the policy is changed, and if we're going to let them do it, then to the good people that have their reunions and have asked for years, can we have alcohol out there during our reunion? The answer is no. I mean, I don't think that
Correct.
we can change it. So again, I respect how you presented it, Sarah, and I respect the other arguments, but I cannot, in good conscience, say that I want to change my feeling as to what we should allow at Freeman Lake, whether it's a concert or a fishing tournament or a family reunion or a picnic or whatever. I can't do it.
What is the difference in this then? And I respect what you're saying, Ron, but I don't see the difference is that we have said as a legislative body that it's okay to sell it for blues and barbecue, that it's okay to sell it for cruising. And we've all said that those are family events. but it is not okay to do it out here. And that's where I think that we send the wrong message. We send a conflicting message.
Well, and I'll go back to a conflicting message. We said that these are family events. I would take exception. I know a lot of people who will not bring their family downtown because of the sale of alcohol. I know that personally. They will not do it. So to say it's a family event, this is going to be, if we sell alcohol out there, it's going to be a different kind of event. It's going to be a different kind of, trust me.
Would you classify this concert, you would probably classify that as a more adult event?
Yes,
I would say so.
I would.
Okay. And the park is completely closed that day,
Correct.
other than this event.
Correct.
So there are gonna be no other family activities. There's not gonna be anybody swinging, there's not gonna be anybody paddle boating, there's not. gonna
Unless
be
they want to
any-
pay $20 a ticket to do it.
I just mentioned that because I see this as a more of adult event than actually what I see downtown, because downtown we have a kid zone.
Free kid zones.
A kid zone. Now, you're not wanting to have a kid zone and get the kids out here to this is a concert.
This is a concert.
Okay.
Which I want to point out, Terry, that, concerts have shown to be the successful part of Heartland. They've shown to be things that people want and people are
Well, I know I
interested in.
work the gate and they come flooding in at 20 minutes prior to concert time.
Right.
I mean, that's the reason why.
Right.
And the only other thing I would mention as we consider this, and it goes back to Councilman Thomas's point, when I look at this map at the consumption zone, it seems like to me that this would be a heck of a lot easier to manage from a security standpoint than all these little alleys and streets coming off downtown. And from a manpower standpoint, Chief, you might have a comment about, to me, this seems like it would be much easier. I mean, if you exit on two sides, you're gonna be in the water. I mean, but it just looks like to me that it would be an easier perimeter for you guys to kind of just, run a route all the way around the perimeter. And it just seems, down here, it seems like we've got little alleys and buildings and stuff that you can hide behind and escape and all that kind of stuff.
Based upon the way she presented it, putting this yellow line that she has actually represents an actual physical barrier. Understand Sarah's going to put that large orange fencing all the way
Fencing.
across, so, yes, that physical barrier there.
And I respect every opinion and every statement we've made and every reason for changing it. And again, that may be old school, but I still think that there are a significant population. Again, this is the last sacred cow that we have in the city of Elizabethtown where we haven't opened the door. And I think this just opens it a little bit. And I don't think that this is the end of it. Trust me, if this is approved, I don't think this is the end of it. And I just don't think that is the purpose of Freeman Lake Park. And I respect everybody's opinion and can live with it, but I have to voice, and I've always felt that way about Freeman Lake.
Sure.
Well, and I appreciate that too, Ron, I really do, and I understand the importance for a place for families, but I kind of agree with Terry, it's an adult event, and since kids aren't gonna be there, and I agree, it appears it's gonna be much more controlled. And I think it is for adult entertainment, a lot of adults do want to drink beer.
And it's the only thing going on at the lake.
And it's the only thing going on.
Yeah.
That's why it makes sense
It-
to me for this event. And it's not like we're opening it up for everyday use for alcohol. It's just for this event.
Right.
And Cindy, and I do agree with everything that you said, but again, I just go back and I just think that years to come, and I may not be, probably won't be a part of it, but I think that this opens the door just a little bit. And I guess just goes back to my basic feeling about Freeman Lake Park as a family place, and I want to have that image. But I certainly can respect, what you said about it being an adult. No doubt about it. It is an adult event.
You gotta remember, Ron and I are a lot older.
Yeah.
I remember when it was, all we want is to be able to have a glass of wine with dinner. That's all we want. So see.
But that's our
All
only
right,
option.
any
to have
other
concerts.
discussion?
So we don't have another
Before-
place to hold these.
We don't have
we
another
don't have
place
another
for
place to hold
concerts.
these concerts.
No, trust me, I have
We
looked.
tried.
The mayor and I drove around and we have looked and searched and There is not another location that we have.
The airport.
We tried
We
the
tried the
airport.
airport.
There's- You know, at that
We
time of the year,
tried.
there's corn growing out there.
Yeah, parking is the issue at the airport and logistically walking through the, I could give you all kinds of, I've even begged Seth for use of the sports park, which he laughed at after he had a heart attack, but,
The sports park is on one of the exempted facilities. Is that correct, right? Sports park is, yeah, yes.
Well, the sports park is booked August the 29th. So, but anyway, so I suppose that's something you all can vote on next week. All right, thank you, Dawn.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Sarah.
Well, Mr. Mingle, we're glad to have you. And we've talked about you. We've talked about what the wonderful service that you and Martha have given to the city and how much we really hate to lose you all. We do have a proclamation if you'd like to join me up here. And you all, I'm going to read this again, okay?
Okay.
Wonderful.
Mr. Shipp has even been talking about you this evening before the meeting, about how wonderful you all have been at your church.
I was going to bring Martha, but she's not in a condition to come out tonight, so.
Well, we're just glad to have you. This is a proclamation honoring Larry and Martha Mingle. Now I'm going to skip the whereas and wherefores and all that, all right? Martha Mingle has served as president of the Potterview Garden Club, the Garden Club of Kentucky, and the Women's Club of Elizabethtown, and has been active with the Foreign Officers Group at Fort Knox and her church. Larry Mingle is a retired colonel of the United States Army, director of Hardin County Habitat for Humanity, secretary of the Kentucky Habitat for Humanity Board, past president of the Elizabethtown Lions Club and Lions Tent Project coordinator, chairman of the board for Feeding America, Kentucky's Heartland, and active in his church. Larry also received the Boy Scout of America Distinguished Citizen Award. Larry and Martha have been outstanding citizens of Elizabethtown and will be greatly missed upon their move to North Carolina. Now be it proclaimed that March the 9th, 2015 be declared as Larry and Martha Mingle Day in Elizabethtown, and they're recognized for their many contributions and accomplishments that has made Elizabethtown the wonderful place it is today. And we truly thank you very much.
Well, thank you.
And you will be missed.
Thank you very much.
And I understand it's 50 years associated with the Boy Scouts.
No, well, yes, I've been a Boy Scout. I was a Boy Scout when I was 11, so.
So 50 years you've been associated with the Boy Scouts. Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Thank you so
Appreciate it. And we wish
Appreciate
you good
Appreciate
luck.
the honor. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Right.
Did you want to add anything, Mr. Shipp?
The only thing that I would add is just simply what I was saying off record upstairs before we came down to the meeting, when I saw where Larry and possibly Martha would be here today. And I just told the guys, for any of you all that do not know Mr. and Miss Mingle, I cannot tell you how much they have meant to not only our community, but we go to church together, and can't tell you how many ramps, wheelchair ramps that this guy has built, and how many roofs he's put on people's homes, and brush he's cleaned up for people because they can't get out and do it. And Larry, we appreciate you, and we're going to miss you. And E-Town is much better because you guys were here. So thank you very much.
Thank you. We thank you. Does anyone else have anything?
Oh, go ahead.
Sarah.
No, go ahead, sir.
Got one thing, this Saturday and Sunday on Velocity, Cruise in the Heartland will be featured on Dennis Gage My Classic Car Show. So if you have the Velocity channel, E-Town, downtown E-Town, and the whole event is going to be on there. So
The Velocity channel. Is that on Direct or Comcast or Brandenburg or?
it's on all of them. It just depends on what package you have, I guess. But
Ah,
yeah, it's a car enthusiast show. It's their 17th season, I do believe.
Thank you.
I was just gonna say, it's a great big week for all of us Etonians, and we wish the ball teams a lot of success, and I know a lot of us will be traveling back and forth for a lot of ball games. Just be safe out there, but hopefully this time next week we'll have a couple champions around here.
Absolutely. And I want to thank all the guys who cleaned our streets. Did a great job, Don. Thank you.
Well, I do want to thank the gas department, stormwater, and customer service. They assisted us tremendously, so thank you all. How many hours without sleep? I don't remember.
And firefighters helped with the people who were stranded out on I-65, the guys at Pritchard helped with that. Who am I, anybody else I've left out?
I'm sure Ed had to plan something.
Mayor, you talked about our age, in reference to the alcohol policy. This shows our age too, but I'd like to welcome back, those, probably only a couple of us can remember an individual that used to cover us many
Greg,
years
yeah.
ago, Greg Thompson from WQXE. Good to have you back. And Greg used to, many years ago, be the reporter on the scene for the city council. Good to have you back, Greg.
Okay, I guess we're adjourned then. Thank you.
It's a good gift. Get out of here early.